Welcome back to Sledgehammer Horror, guys. I am Ken Sledge.
And I'm Ashley Sledge.
And let's talk horror.
So today we want to talk about scenes that scared us from a non-horror movie.
And not just us. We had a lot of our friends that wanted to talk about this as well. So we're going to show you guys some of their videos, see some of the scenes that scared them. Stick around for the end, and you'll find out what scenes scared Ashley and I the most.
Hello,
Hey,
my
Ken,
sweeties.
Oh, no, you go first. You introduce us.
Hello, my sweeties, and hello, Ken and Ashley. Thank you so much for having me and Cornelius today on the channel to talk about a non-horror movie that scared us.
Hell yeah. I don't know. I never asked you, actually. You know, it's funny. It's funny that Ken brings this up. I never asked you. What is yours?
So, this was a tough question. But I finally remembered something that I completely blocked out of my mind. I haven't watched this movie in a while. It's not particularly a fun watch, so that's probably why I haven't seen it. But the film that did scare me was The Virgin Suicides. And there is one scene in particular where one of the girls jumps out of the window, hence the title. And she gets caught on the gate and impaled. And I was very young when I watched this movie, and that was very scary to me. I had never seen anything like that happen in my life. So I was like, what?
Oh, wait. So you're telling me a movie called The Virgin Suicides is not a horror movie?
It's not.
What is it, a rom-com? What the fuck? What is it?
No, it's a coming of age.
Coming of age? It sounds like they're ending their age. What do you mean
And it's
coming of age?
based on a book as well.
All right,
Stars Kirsten
well,
Dunst. It's a great film, by the way.
I've
Check
never
it out.
seen it. I mean, you know, back in my day. Anyway, so listen, I don't know. This is a tough one. It was a tough question. I don't really know. I don't have a. Oh, I do have an answer, but nobody's here for me. They're here for you. So I don't think Ken's gonna be mad if I say a video game. Is that okay, Ken? I'm sorry. If it's not, you can cut this. But listen, mine was, and you're gonna laugh, but you gotta promise you won't laugh.
Me?
You,
I'm not gonna
the
laugh.
audience, Ken and Ashley, did you ever play Cat Dog Quest for the Golden Hydrant for PC?
What?
No. I told you, don't laugh. Don't laugh at me. I'm telling
What
you.
is
I'm trying
that?
to open up to you. All right, look.
I'm sorry. I'm only laughing because the title, I'd never heard of that in my life.
It's an Indiana Jones spin-off computer game for the Windows 98 based on Cat Dog.
Oh, wow. That sounds cool, though.
And, you know, it's Cat Dog looking for this golden hydrant. And there's this one, like one of the last levels, I remember I was playing it. It scared the shit out of me when it came out. And you're like trying to go through like this ancient pyramid. There's all these mummies. And they scream at you.
Oh.
That was it. It was a hard level. Anyway, thank you guys so much for coming out. Shouts to our friends Ken and Ashley. You know, they have their own head adjacent butler as well. But for some reason, they don't put them on camera. I guess someone discriminates against head adjacent peoples.
What?
Yeah. One of my buddies from the agency. I hooked them up.
Ken and Ashley.
Yeah. Jorkorvius is his name. He's a great butler.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So, hi to our friends over at Sledgehammer Horror. And what's going on, Jorkorvius? I hope you're doing good.
Wow. Thank you so much, Ken and Ashley, for having
Joe Corbius.
me and Cornelius in this cute little video. I can't wait to hear everybody else's non-horror movie or non-horror movie scene that scared them. Mine was a little on the darker side, so I apologize. If you plan on watching The Virgin Suicides, please do your research. That is it for us. Bye.
What's up, guys? We are That Horror Couple. I'm Kaylee.
And I'm Rob.
And we want to thank our great friends Ken and Ashley at Sledgehammer Horror for asking us to make a video describing one of our favorite scenes that scared us out of a movie that's not horror.
That's right, because we love Ken and Ashley,
We do.
and they are good friends of us. Ken's my homeboy, and he's a good guy.
He is, and we love Ashley too.
He's a terrible kisser, though. But he's a good guy.
Thank you guys so much for asking us to do this. Do you want to start off, or should I?
Okay, now basically, this kind of made me rattle my brain. I'm like, I could think of something random, but like, I'm like, okay, so it's anything that's not considered horror that scared us. Okay, ladies first.
All right, so I'm gonna do, this is a scene that came into my head as soon as Rob mentioned to do like a scary scene from a non-horror movie. Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets has a scene in it where giant spiders are literally chasing the three preteens through the woods ready to eat them. And if that isn't considered terrifying, I don't know what is, but like that scene in that movie scared the crap out of me as a kid, and when I watch it now, it still makes my skin crawl because the thought of thousands of spiders or hundreds of spiders chasing me through the woods wanting to eat me, I mean, that's kind of terrifying. So I'm gonna go with that.
Harry Potter?
Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, the spider scene.
Wingardium Leviosa.
Yeah.
Mine would have to be The Terminator, okay? It's one of my favorite films of all time. This movie rocks, okay? To me, it's a horror, but I swear to God, it's not considered that. You look it up on IMDb, kids. Look, it's an action, adventure, sci-fi, no horror.
That's true.
Which blows my mind, because the whole entire movie scares the bewilders out of me.
It's very actiony, yeah.
Yeah, I swear, dude. As far as scenes go, I mean, one that stands out to me is when after the Terminator gets like shot up, he has to like repair himself. So he rips out his own eye. He's like and like, dude, the eye just falls into the sink. There's another scene when he's like repairing a wound on his arm.
Yeah.
And you see like when he moves his arms, you see like the mechanics in the arms, dude. It's like it's wicked cool, wicked creepy. And as far as scaring me goes, you could pick any chase scene from that movie when he's attacking Reese and Sarah Connor. And like there's good chase scenes, and then at the end of the movie, of course, when he's blown to hell and he's like a skeleton Terminator, the skeleton's coming after him, dude. It's like
That is pretty scary.
And I swear, I wish I could have thought of something totally not horror, but I'm telling you, it's considered an action, adventure, sci-fi. I have the proof right here, okay? And if that's not a slasher film or a horror movie, what is?
I don't know.
I don't know. Plus, Arnold has a great ass.
Oh, okay.
And you can see that in the beginning, too, when he comes down.
That is true, yeah, you can.
He must work out.
I think so.
He does.
Thank you so much to Ken and Ashley for having us be a part of this, picking our favorite scene from a non-horror movie that we watched that scared us. So we were really happy to do this.
Ken has a nice ass, too.
Yeah.
Just saying. I love Sledgehammer Horror.
Oh, we love you guys. Thank you guys so much for asking us to do this and
great ass, Ken.
for being so supportive. Thank you guys so much. Make sure you subscribe to That Horror Couple and to Sledgehammer Horror.
Plug ourselves.
Yeah, make sure you check us out on YouTube, guys. We're That Horror Couple on YouTube. We do horror movie reviews, trailer breakdowns, that sort of thing. If you're interested, you like to laugh, Rob tells jokes, check it out.
Yes, and some of them are funny.
Yeah, some of them are very funny.
Tell you what it is. Some of them don't do well.
Yeah, but we love Ken and Ashley. Make sure you guys are subscribing to them, clicking the bell to be notified when they drop all of their new content. We love you guys. Thank you so much.
Hi everyone. So I want to say that my favorite non-horror movie scary moments would have to be And What Lies Beneath, featuring Michelle Pfeiffer and Harrison Ford. Really good movie. My favorite scene in that movie would probably have to be when Claire, Michelle Pfeiffer's character, goes towards the tub and she sees a reflection of her body. And it's really Mary's body. That scene gets me every single time. Terrifies me till this day. It gives me chills every single time. So, yeah.
What's up, Ken and Ashley? I'm coming at you with two scenes today that terrified me from non-horror movies. We'll save this kind of stupid one for last. The first one is from my absolute favorite movie of all time, The Dark Knight. It's kind of cheating, but not really. We all know, if we've seen it, the very first scene when you see the Joker and he rips off the mask and you just see him and he disappears. Because I was 12 when that movie came out, and they didn't really show him in the trailers, so that was like a first glance, and I was terrified of Heath Ledger's Joker. I'm sure most people were. I was a little older, but still young enough to be like, but yes, that's the first scene. The second scene is really stupid, I'll be honest. From the OG Power Rangers movie. I don't remember what age I was when I saw this, maybe 5, maybe 6. I was young, so throw me a bone, I guess. The scene, if we've seen the movie, we know, where Rocky does the karate kick and he launches himself over the ring ropes, I don't know how, and lands on his back and like shatters his back. As a child, my parents would have to fast forward through that scene just because I would cry and see it. I watch it back as an adult and I realize it's really stupid, but when I was 5, 6 years old, it really terrified me. Hey guys, thank you so much for including me in this. This was fun. Love you guys. We'll talk soon.
Hey, Ken, Ashley, Louis Moss from the Clintonville Slasher. So today you guys, you asked earlier, like, what was a one movie that scared you, but was a non-horror film? So I'm going to go with when I was about 6 years old, I saw this movie for the very first time, which I was too young to see. But I'm going to go with Total Recall, 1990s. So now, most of the movie is pretty messed up, especially at Quado. Well, you know, the baby, like, in the guy's stomach, the cab driver, hey, man, I'm one of you, and he's got the mutant arm. Or even when they got Quaid and Melina in the chairs, and they're scrambling their brains. Or even when Quaid is pulling that tracker beam out of his nose. But one that scared me a bunch, the one that scared me the most, was when Quaid, Melina, and Cohagen are like shoved out of the tubes and they're like thrown out into space and they're out into on Mars and they're struggling for air and their eyes bulge out of their head and their tongues all and they're freaking out, and that for some reason that stuck with me forever. That movie, like, that scared the shit out of me. I have no idea why, because I love that movie. But yeah, 1990s Total Recall, which is a banger of a movie if you've never seen it. It's streaming on Tubi. So stay horror. Thanks for including me, and we'll see you next time. Later days.
What's up, Sledgehammer Horror? This is Necromechanimal with my scariest moment from a movie that's not horror. And for me, it's Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Judge Doom. They established earlier that Judge Doom could kill with the dip. He killed the shoe. He had Roger Rabbit and Jessica Rabbit tied up, and it was about to die. And then he ran him over with the steamroller, and he came back, and even that couldn't stop him. And he inflated himself and did that crazy-ass voice, and with the eyes, scared the shit out of me. With my young mind, I was watching it by myself, and I don't even know how young. But probably made me a horror fan, and thanks for putting out more great horror content for me to watch. Thanks.
Rob here from Exploitation Reviews. For me, the most horrific scene outside of a horror film is the death of Private Mellish in Saving Private Ryan. Truth be told, I'm not a huge fan of that movie. I think it's sort of cheesy and melodramatic in that Spielbergian kind of way, but it does two things very well: the battle on Normandy Beach and the death of Private Mellish. And that latter one is really hard to watch. It's horrific.
Hi, Ken and Ashley. I'm Sam.
And I'm Brennan.
We're from Our Life in Horror. Our non-horror movies with scary scenes. What would you pick?
There are so many. Like, there's so many children movies with that one scary scene.
Okay.
And I find that incredible. So you have, like, the original, the OG, you got Pinocchio when his buddy turns into the donkey.
I don't even remember that.
It's horrifying. And you don't even see it, but you hear it. And you just get to see a silhouette of him turning into a donkey. It's just horrifying. I was just trying to figure it out too from like myself. What I would say there's one jump scare from a movie that's an absolutely, it gets me every time. And it's Lord of the Rings. Bilbo Baggins jump scares Frodo when he's like showing Bilbo the ring, and then he's like, you know, like he literally does that, and his face goes all CGI with scary teeth, and it scares the fuck out of me every time I see it.
Okay.
Nightmare fuel.
Okay. You actually just reminded me of a new one. I was gonna say the entire movie of Requiem for a Dream, because some people don't consider that horror. I'm on the fence. I feel like I would consider it horror, but I know some people don't. The content is very heavy and it's very unsettling.
Yeah, I consider that a full-on horror movie.
Okay, then I'm going to go with Harry Potter Chamber of Secrets. Oh my God, I haven't watched Harry Potter in so long, but when at the end, when was it a dragon or a snake?
The
It comes out of the water. I saw that movie in theaters probably 3 times and screamed every time.
Okay.
This is a child though. Like watching it now, I'm not sure how it would feel, but that's what I would go with.
Okay. Yeah, I know it's so hard because there's just all those childhood movies with like there's James the Page Master. Is it the Page Master?
I think so.
Which is like had a whole bunch of scary scenes in it. There's what was I just watching? James and the Giant Peach, when he confronts the rhinoceros at the end of the movie.
Okay, yeah.
That was one. But that movie is just kind of freaky altogether because the animation is so good, but it's so weird.
Yeah.
You know?
I freaked out with I think it was The Mummy when the beetles go inside the guy.
Yep.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I didn't even watch the whole movie because that scene scared me.
Oh, I love that movie.
Yeah, that's what we would go with, I guess.
Yeah, there's just always that one scene from some children's movie that just always kind of sticks with you.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Hi, this is Wade Markey, and I wanted to submit my scariest scene from a non-horror film. And this one comes from a 1985 film called The Boys Next Door, starring Charlie Sheen and Maxwell Caulfield. I watched this at a very young age, and boy, does it have many, many brutal, violent attacks on minorities and gay men in this film. There's one particular scene that actually really, really bothered me, and that was an attack and kill on a gay man that they pick up on in a nightclub, and bring them back to his apartment, or they come back to his apartment, and then they just brutally attack him and kill him. And there's random acts of violence throughout this film. These are 2 delinquent high school graduates that just recently graduated from high school, and they're outcasts in their high school. And so that night they go on a violent killing spree throughout their city. It's not per se a horror film. It's definitely a crime thriller. So I wanted to include this scene as a horrific, scary scene that really affected me. So that's my submission for one of the scariest scenes I've ever seen in a non-horror film. All right, thanks a lot. Take care.
Hey everyone, this is Kyle Grover, and today I'm here to talk about my scariest non-horror film scene. I chose Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, the part where they follow the spiders into the forest, and they're giant and huge, and the beady eyes, and spiderwebs everywhere in the forest. Why did they follow that? Ugh, gross. You wouldn't catch me dead following giant spiders anywhere. I just remember in the movie theater not knowing that scene was coming as a kid and being scared of it. And today, giant spiders, that's still a pretty scary thing. I don't know how you would kill them unless you got a flamethrower laying around.
Hey, my name is Dice Rowan, and I wanted to share or remind you of some childhood trauma. When you think about it, there are a surprising number of scenes in movies that have little or nothing to do with horror, that end up burning themselves into our psyche, especially movies meant for kids. Whenever the subject of horrific moments in non-horror movies comes up, there's typically one scene that springs to my mind, and it's from The Brave Little Toaster, 1987. This is an animated film that I watched quite a bit as a kid that has plenty of unsettling moments. I mean, it's about living household electronics that venture out into the world to reunite themselves with the kid that owns them after they're left behind. The scene that sticks out the most to me is when the main characters, Toaster, Kirby, Lampy, Radio, and Blinky, are out in the woods. They've fallen asleep and Toaster is dreaming about the kid, or the master. Everything's all fine and dandy until he suddenly causes a fire, where the kid is abducted by smoke, essentially. That's pretty scary on its own, but it's taken several notches up when a firefighter clown appears, and gives one of the most chilling line deliveries in this movie. This is followed by Toaster running for their life and ending up suspended above a tub of water. As a kid, I thought it was quite intense, but I didn't fully get the meaning of this until I went back and watched it again. This is a toaster, an electronic device with sentience, hanging over the very thing that can kill it. What the fuck? And you would think that maybe just before Toaster falls, they would wake up. No, we see Toaster fall right into the tub, short circuit, and then wake up. I think it's the feverish images out of nowhere, the tense score, and the fact that this doesn't feel too far off from how off the wall most nightmares can be, that really cemented this scene in my brain. Could I tell you the rest of the events of the film off the top of my head? No, but I can tell you every detail of this one scene. So that's the non-horror movie moment that sticks out to me. And if you want to explore more animated childhood trauma, then I recommend An American Tail. See you later.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Ash to Ashes from Rise from the Dead podcast and Kill the Dead podcast, and I'm here to share one of my favorite scariest scenes from a non-horror film. But I'm going to be honest with y'all, I'm going to cheat a little bit and say this film, every single scene in this film is scary, and the film I'm talking about is Watership Down. I made the mistake of watching this as a little Ash to Ashes because it is an animated film, and you see cute bunnies and wildlife. You're like, oh, it's so cute. No, it's not cute. All the crap they go through in this film is not cute. So the one scene that comes to mind when I think about this film, a scene that is scary to me, is their only doe in their group that's trying to escape is killed by a hawk. These animals are trying to find safety, and they're like getting picked off, and they just had to kill the doe first. Let's just say to this day, I still have PTSD. And what ticks me off about this film, it is presented as a family film. It's on HBO Max now, listed as a family film. It is not a family film. But I mean, if you want to go check it out, be my guest. But beware. Until this day, I refuse to watch it.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Dylan from Splattercast over here, and a huge thank you to Ashley and Ken from Sledgehammer Horror for including me in this video. This is such a fun idea. I knew exactly the film I was going to pick when they said, pick a movie that is a non-horror film that scares you the most. And I gotta be honest, that film is Kathryn Bigelow's 2017 film, Detroit. Now, for those of you who don't know, this film centers around the 1967 Detroit riots. More specifically, this involves the Algiers Motel incident. It's extremely brutal. It is one of those films that will make you sit back and think, oh my god, I can't believe this happened. This can't be reality right now. But it is so well done. Everything from the acting to the expert directing from Kathryn Bigelow here is seriously a film that I feel like is super, super underrated. And there is a scene in here that will absolutely rock you to your core. I remember when I went and saw this, I came back and spoke to Luke about it on a very, very early iteration of our podcast, where I said, this is the scariest movie of 2017. And again, it's not a horror film. John Boyega stars in this film, and I mean, seeing him step outside of something other than Star Wars that isn't Attack the Block, I mean, you really, really can see just the acting chops on this guy and just how much of a force he can be when given a proper script and a great director. And not only that, but Will Poulter, I mean, he was up for Pennywise at this time. It was one of those things where everybody was like, oh, I feel like that was a missed opportunity. Thank God for Bill Skarsgård, right? But this, holy cow, he is evil. I don't want to get into any more than that, but like the character he plays, it just gets under your skin in the most specific kind of way. And yeah, I really think, again, this is an underrated film. Catherine Bigelow is so well known for films like Point Break, The Hurt Locker was her big one, but horror fans may know her from, you know, Near Dark, that underrated vampire gem. If you have not seen Near Dark, what are you doing? Go see it. Either way, Detroit is my pick. Thank you, Ashley and Ken, for having me on. Scared the crap out of me. Go watch it if you've never seen it. And yeah, check out my channel, Splattercast.
Hey, what's up? I'm Bracket, and I'm here today to share with you my most scary non-horror movie. I definitely am going to go with Requiem for a Dream. That whole movie, to me, is just frightening. Every scene is just heartbreaking and unsettling, especially the scene with Jared Leto when he's trying to inject more heroin into his arm, his already heavily abused arm. And it's just so sad to me because I've had a couple of friends pass away from an overdose, and so I can't help but think of them when I watch this movie. Also the scene at the end with Jennifer Connelly and another woman performing a sex act together, just so disturbing and unsettling and just, I mean, gross and frightening at all at the same time. So definitely that movie has some scary scenes in it. And as an honorable mention, I would say Clockwork Orange, the scene where he has his eyeballs propped open. That's just scary because it just reminds me how society wants you to conform to its standards, and you know, they tried to change him by making him watch happy videos, but it didn't really work. And that's a kind of a frightening scene for me as well. I hope you enjoyed my picks. Thank you.
What's up, Sledgehammer Horror? This is your friendly neighborhood Brandon Glenn, aka the Young Queasy, and today we are talking about the scariest scene in a non-horror film. Now, I had a couple of different picks for this one, but I had to narrow it down because I don't want to take up all the time, so I ended up going with two. But the first one, I had to go with David Fincher's 2007 classic Zodiac, and the scene I'm talking about is the basement scene. Now, for anyone who doesn't know, Jake Gyllenhaal's character is investigating the Zodiac murders, and he comes across this clue that the handwriting in these letters is very similar to the handwriting in these custom-made movie posters. Now, he goes and visits, and then it leads to an interaction in a basement. And I don't want to say anything else about it. For anyone who hasn't seen it, go watch it. This is one of those pure edge-of-your-seat moments that just had me sweating bullets the first time I watched it. It's one of the most tense scenes that I think I've experienced for me personally. And yeah, I just had to include it. I tossed around, instead, talking about the lake scene with the couple, but I'd rather not upset everybody. So, yeah, that's my pick. I also wanted to throw in an honorable mention, and that is one that it's not scary now, but it's terrified me and my brothers when we were kids, and that is from the absolute classic It's a Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. I know you probably didn't expect anyone to bring this up. The scene in question is about Snoopy, and he's going to a Halloween party, and for anyone who hasn't seen this, whoever you are, Snoopy is going to a Halloween party, and instead of just going there, he role plays this scenario where he is this, World War pilot, and he is, the flying ace, I think is what they call him, and he's in a dogfight, and that part was fine. The dogfight was cool, but it's after he crash lands, and essentially all he's doing is walking to the party, but in his mind, he's trapped behind enemy lines. You have Charlie Brown narrating, talking about how, he's sneaking through the dangerous terrain, and you see him swimming across the little river. You hear him sneaking through the grass. You have this haunting flute that's playing, and there's a lot of shots of just him as a silhouette with his eyes glowing. Terrified me and my brothers as kids. We didn't like seeing Snoopy in danger. And so when you said to name a scariest scene in a non-horror, that's the first one that come to mind. So yeah, those are my two picks. Thank you so much, Sledgehammer Horror, for including me. You already know the drill. In case I don't see you again, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Hello, my name is Austin Torres. I am a horror filmmaker based in Michigan. I am the host of the Would You Die podcast. I want to thank Ken and Ash for doing this whole scariest movie moment in a non-horror movie because I think this is so much fun. And what I want to talk about today is the ending of Raiders of the Lost Ark. Because when I was, I think I was 10 years old when I first saw Raiders of the Lost Ark. And that ending blew my mind. Like, spoiler alert, what happens to Belloc was literally me. 10-year-old Austin was not prepared for that. It has one of my favorite gore effects of all time where, because the Ark of the Covenant is so rad, it's so cool that the one guy, I believe his name's Arnold Tote in the movie. His face just melts. Everyone knows the face melting guy. I think that's a pretty famous GIF meme, but yeah, when the ghosts they come out of the Ark. Spoiler alert, by the way. If you haven't seen Raiders, I'm sorry. But yeah, it's Raiders of the Lost Ark is one of the greatest action adventure films ever made. I think Indiana Jones is iconic film character, one of the greatest film characters ever made. Harrison Ford's so good in it. Steven Spielberg directs his butt off on it. And yeah, for that horror scene to come out of nowhere at the very end of this great action adventure, it was awesome. I think with the sequel, Temple of Doom, and the Spielberg produced Gremlins coming out a few years later, that's how we got PG-13. But yeah, I love Raiders of the Lost Ark. I love horror, and I love that horror moment in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
So those are some amazing scenes that you guys talked about. And first off, we want to thank everybody
Yes,
that
thank you
was a
guys
part
so
of this.
much for being a part of this with us. This was a lot of fun to talk about things that scared us from being kids.
And we want to do more community videos like this. So if you have any recommendations for videos that you would like to see made or you would like to be a part of, please send them our way on social media or let us know down in the comments below because we had a blast putting this together. We would love for all of you to do this again. But now we got to talk about Ashley and I's scenes. Would you like to start us off?
Yeah, so I'm going to talk about the first one, and it's actually from Batman Returns, and it's when Penguin dies at the end, and the penguins are pulling him into the water. I don't know why that freaked me out so much as a kid. I don't know if it's because of these penguins, like you always look at them like they're these cute little birds, and that really they're like these vicious birds. I don't know, but it scared me when I was a kid.
Yeah. Batman Returns. Tim Burton. We might talk about him again.
I love that one.
The second one I want to talk about is Casino. The ending with Joe Pesci and his brother. When they turn on him, because you think they're going out in the cornfield for a meeting, and then they turn on him because he's just too crazy, and they kill him and his brother, and the scene scared me so bad as a kid, and especially the scene where Pesci's brother's laying in the grave, and he's like, please just fucking kill him, man. Please kill him. He's still breathing. And then they bury them both alive. Like that scene just really, really scared me. I love the movie. Still one of my favorite non-horror movies to this day. But that scene really, really scared me as a kid.
Oh, being buried alive?
Yeah.
Freaks me out.
After being beaten with a baseball bat.
And your lungs are filling up with blood. Ugh.
Yeah.
No, thank you. And then the one that scared me the most.
I love this.
This is kind of funny. But it's from the Goonies, and it's when Chunk, he's trying to find help. He's trying to get away to help the others. And he gets a car and he stops them and he's like telling them all the stuff that the robbers did.
I know these nasty people. You might have heard of them. The Fratellis.
Yeah. And then he turns the light on and you see Mr. Fratelli in the rear view mirror.
Yeah.
And he just has this evil look upon his face.
Yes.
That's what I felt like, oh my gosh, you just got caught. Like now he's going to take you. Scared the crap out of me.
And especially when you're kids, the fear of getting caught doing something, it fills you with anxiety. You have secondhand anxiety from watching somebody get caught doing something. So my number one, I don't think this is going to be a surprise to anybody. It's from what I've called numerous times the perfect movie. And I told you we'd talk about Tim Burton again because it's from Tim Burton's Pee-wee's Big Adventure. And it is the Large Marge scene. I know a lot of people don't understand, but when I was a kid watching this for the first time, I wasn't expecting any type of horror. I was a big Pee-wee's Playhouse fan. I was just expecting a fun, you know, and when he gets in that truck and she's telling him the story and then she does and it looked like this, woo! And Pee-wee does the scream, yes. It was the worst accident I ever saw. As a kid, I was rocked. Maybe that's why I'm not a big fan of jump scares today, because that one scared me so bad because it was so unexpected and just such a great movie with so much good comedy and action and love. I still to this day, Pee-wee's Big Adventure I think is the perfect movie. It has a little mix of everything. So if you weren't a part of the video, please let us know down in the comments what scene scared you the most from a non-horror movie. Did we talk about it today? Should we touch on it in the future? So if you haven't already, guys, please like and subscribe. It helps to build the channel more than you know. And follow Sledgehammer Horror on social media. Our links are in the description as well. But until next time, keep talking horror.
Stay who you are.
And we'll see you guys soon.
Bye, guys.